Welcome to Springfield, Illinois. I'm presently at our Illinois Air National Guard. Behind me are some airplanes on display from back in the day, and that's what we're going to talk about. Not about these airplanes or about the Air Guard, but we're going to be talking about going back in time, and we are going to go back in time to the 1940s when some of these planes were actually flying around. But what I did to do this, I picked a very specific address in Springfield, Illinois to look at that made a major change between the 1940s and is now. And to do that, I'm going to need some help. I found this person, Helen and Ann. Yep, that's them right here. Helen and Ann are going to help us describe what this address was like, because they were actually living at the address that I picked in the 1940s. And now we can see what it's like now versus then. It's very interesting how much major change has happened. I had no clue what was there, but they were there in the 1940s, and they're going to let us know. So go back in time with me to this address in Springfield, Illinois, and let them tell the story. Let's do this.
Well, today we're looking at 2100 Clear Lake Avenue. And this is where we lived, on its corner by that sign. And the house is gone now, and a business is there, was there. And on Wheeler Street, across the street, was the Kucher's house. And it was a pretty neighborhood. Everybody kept their lawns nice. It was nicely landscaped, and people were very friendly.
Now this used to be our house. All the way back to the tracks was our land, and it had a double lot. The house had a large porch, had 7 rooms. Downstairs was a front room, living room, kitchen, and dining room. Upstairs was 3 bedrooms and 2 large walk-in closets. We enjoyed living here, didn't we, Helen?
Oh yes, remember our yard? It was so big.
Speaking of the house, this is an artist rendition that I made from a direct description of how they remember it. The square building is the house. It was quite big for all the children, with a rectangular house next door. The red line is the property line. And you can see with all that space there was lots of trees and place for plants that we'll be hearing about in just a short bit after we hear about Bill's Trailer Park. The black and white 1985 picture shows a Google GPS overhead shot. The square building in that is the building of business that was there instead of the house. But the other is just as we described.
This used to be Bill's Trailer Camp. There's the sign hidden in the trees yet. And it used to be a trailer camp. And in the summer, on Saturday nights, he would have cartoons for the trailer camp children and myself.
Now, the backyard went all the way back to the tracks, and like Annie said. And there was a big tree in back, and there was a tree house, a tree. But Annie and I never got to go up into it because Daddy said it was unsafe now. The older kids had made it, and he had a big garden back there that we could have everything. It had popcorn, regular corn, all kinds of vegetables, rhubarb. We had
and that was the land behind us, and the tracks was where the road is. And all that where you see the indenture in the ground, that was our land too, and it went all the way to the fence. Beside the garden, we had 9 trees in our yard. 2 pear trees, 2 peach trees, cherry tree, 2 apple trees, 2 what they call cigar trees, and a raspberry tree.
And 6 peaches trees. And also 6 peach trees. And we played outside all the time. And right behind where the tracks used to be was our neighbors. And
this was the cornfield. No houses was there.
Is that one?
And this is the tracks leading all that boxcars trailer tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Train used to come through. This is a side picture looking down towards town. And Helen, remember that house?
I remember that house well. That house was where the guy who owns Tammy Amy, who used to be a place downtown, he owned it. And they had a little boy, and he had something wrong with his hand, but he was really cute.
Did Uncle Jimmy get caught smoking there?
I was caught smoking in our garage.
Oh, okay.
When I was in my garage.
It was Jimmy who was caught.
It was, yeah, Jimmy.
He
yeah.
was caught smoking one day. And this is the driveway leading alongside of our neighbor's house, which is still there. But there was not this long garage. There was a short garage closer to the house. But this house, it looks the same as it did when we were there, doesn't it, Helen?
Yes, it does. That awning or whatever that is over the back porch, that's different.
Yes, but the house itself.
And then our house was right next door where the building is. And this lady, Mrs. Mosky, used to have
Garage.
a garage there. And then she had chickens and she had strawberries. She always made strawberries. And
This is the driveway leading out to Clear Lake between her house and Gothard's Manufacturing Company, which I used to skate up on their sidewalks. They had the new sidewalk.
yeah, I did too.
And across the street there used to be Irma Burbank's house.
You know.
Now this here is Bill's trailer camp, what it looks like today. Overgrown, it should be cleaned up, but it's overgrown. And we had lots of fun because we used to go over there, remember, and get ice cream.
Oh yeah. That was a real treat. My mother loved ice cream, so she'd get the big container of ice cream and we get the little cups.
And when we asked how come she got the bigger one, she says, because I'm bigger. And this here is the driveway, a circular driveway to the Inn Urban that used to be here. The Inn Urban was there up until 1956, and then it closed down. And they, the bus stop was also there in the front. Remember that, Helen?
Oh yeah, I used to catch the bus there all the time.
Yeah.
I like the Ann Urban. They used to have great Dutch apple pie.
Yes, we always went inside. And this is the back side part of it where they used to
Tracks.
park the old Ann Urbans and the ones they weren't in order. And this is a view of Clear Lake going the east.
And that used to be.
A cafe. You said there used to be a cafe or something inside of the.
This used to be the Ann Urban, but it's never looked like this. It was a two-story, lovely brick building.
place, yeah. Well, and then that it led down to see where the big pile of rocks is.
Yeah. Now that pile of rocks was Emrine's Bakery at the time.
Yes.
And we used to walk down the street to get our bread because it was cheaper to get day-old bread.
Yeah, and it was good too.
Yes.
And yeah, that's our old neighborhood on the one side.
And on the corner back there where those three houses is, across from them to the right was Termine's. These were all houses here at the time.
Yeah, Termine's was a tavern, and they also had food in there. And it was a neighborhood tavern. Everybody was real friendly.
This is looking back down east.
Yes.
Was Bill's gas station somewhere in here? The gas
Bill's
station?
gas station.
Where was that in relation to here?
That was to the right
Okay.
of the terminal.
And
Now, this is
Street behind you.
the,
One block behind you.
oh yeah, that's where Eddie Landry lived.
oh yes,
Mhm.
this is down Willer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Capitol Avenue. This is where the Warrens and Presbyterian Church was across the street.
Yes.
And this used to be the boiler company, and the coal mine was next to it, along the tracks.
Across the way, yeah.
It was that way.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And then across the tracks was our friend Ann Shea, who made life wonderful for us.
Yes, she was a very good person.
This is the picture of the Ann Irvin out by 2100 Clear Lake, which we lived a half a block from there. And it had the upstairs was the offices. Downstairs, as you walked in, was a bar where you had food. To the left was benches that people sat on while waiting for the train and mailing packages in the back.
And I used to walk from our house that was a half a block down to the Ann Irvin. Why, I don't know. I just thought that was a good place to catch the bus. And if I had time, I'd go in and look at the magazines. And I used to always go there to get their Dutch apple pie. Oh, it was good. And of course we had all those confidential magazines, and this place was really nice looking in its day, and it was quite busy all the time.
And it had a curved driveway, and the trains came in. They were parked to the side, but the one that would come in and leave the people off came right up to that post.
That's right. That's what they did. Okay. This is Amrine's Bakery behind that big truck. It says Wholesome Bread. And we used to go down there all the time to get our bread because it was cheaper. And these are all their drivers and workers. But yeah, that's where we went for our bread, and it was very nice.
And it was half price. That's why we went
Yeah,
there.
that's what I said. It was cheaper
instead
to buy
of
it.
the
Yeah.
store.
So that's all I know about this picture, because I really don't know these men, but I know the building behind it a lot better.
Now this is the front of the building, but where we went in to get our bread was to the right side. We went in and then turned to the right and went down a small hall where they had a bar and they sold bread there for half price. And in the back was where they cooked, baked, and packaged all the bread.
And it also is a pretty building. It was well kept. They cut the grass and trimmed the bushes, and we had quite a little.
It was very neat.
Yes.
Very neat. Everybody kept up their yards and homes.
This building here is what they built, tore down our house, and built this here. And it stayed there for a while. And I think it went into another business, but I can't remember what the name is. Look at those cars. I just, makes me sad to look at it, because our house and the surrounding grounds were just beautiful.
This is a view from up above what our house would have looked like, and it was large on the lot with the blank, and there was a tree in the front and a tree to the side of the sidewalk on the side of the house, and then there were
Lots of rose bushes on the
yeah,
side.
the rose bushes on the side, and then as you went around the back porch, there was 4 trees that were little peach trees and 2 pear trees. To the right was a cherry tree and an apple tree. And then there was a 3-car garage, and we had no car.
But on that cherry tree, an apple tree, and a crab apple tree. Actually, there was 2. There was another cherry tree, but it didn't produce. And I like that big garage. And on one side of it, they had pansies. My mother had pansies
And from
planted.
the back of the garage over to the red line was to the back of the yard was my dad's garden. It was a huge garden.
Yeah, we had everything.
It had everything in it, and we canned in the fall, who took everything up and canned everything from the trees and his garden.
And what I liked about the front of our house was that they had what we call spirea bushes all around the front porch. And we called them bridal bouquets because they were white flowers like they have over there. And it was just beautifully landscaped.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for going back in time with us to the 1940s, that specific address. Of course, thank you for our narrators that were there when they were kids, and they were there to show us what it was like here in 2023. That was pretty awesome, amazing. I'd like to do more stuff like that. Let me know in the comments below if you like that. You know, see what things were like back in an older time period compared to what is there now. That was kind of cool to go through. And just think, this tree right here was probably there also. This is one of the many parks that are in Springfield, and this was probably just a little tiny sapling back in the day when, in the 1940s, when the Ann and Helen were both at the address over there on Clear Lake. So stick around, make your comments, click like and subscribe, and really appreciate you checking out my videos. Come on back, because you never know, because not only do I talk about things, I talk about things. It's vest and tie and walking cap. We're checked in and we're good to go. Till next time, keep dressing this way.